Welcome to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Today, we'll show you how to use the spirit of love and self-worth to improve the connections with everyone else in your life. This program is your weekly gift, and it will keep on giving. You'll see. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jean Marie Farish.
Well, hello and welcome, everyone. I hope you're all faring well. I'm Dr. Jean Marie, your Love Light host, coming to you from the Voice America Empowerment Channel, shining love light into your hearts and homes to empower your life with love. I would like to give a very special acknowledgement to our listeners who tune in from many countries around the world, live and on demand. You've made Love Light rank 32 among 353 Voice America Empowerment shows. We do our best to bring a variety of shows with good content and inspirational guests who join me from around the world. There's something for everyone, even myself. We are here to serve, and I say thank you. We really appreciate you. In our show today, the Diet-Free Diva lifestyle with Tracy Desjardins will certainly be educational, inspirational, and encouraging. There's quite a complicated relationship between restrictive or restrained dieting and our behavior and relationship with food, weight management, and self-regulation of food intake. It behooves us to consider the social cultural pressures for the thin beauty ideal that increases the risk for body shaming, self-dissatisfaction, and striving for perfectionism that can be detrimental to your overall well-being. Dietary restrictions can result in teetering on the edge of binge eating, debilitating health conditions, obesity, and other risk factors. There may be a need to consult a counselor, therapist, life coach, and take advantage of various support systems to ensure a healthy approach to weight management and well-being. And our amazing guest today, Tracy Desjardins, is a national board certified health and wellness coach, mind-body eating coach, and fitness professional and coach. She's the international best-selling author of Diet-Free Diva Lifestyle, 5 Steps to Freedom with Food, Body, Self on your trusted and sustainable terms. Tracy has evolved her multi-decade fitness career into coaching holistic wellness for women, specializing in emotional eating recovery and healing from the damage of dieting, restrictive binge eating, and sugar addiction. Her healing mission connects her heart to women across the globe and healing from diet wars. She creates a connection and community with women who are seeking freedom from restrictive diets and unwanted eating concerns. Her focus for coaching is dedicated to helping other women find freedom from the shackles of dieting and emotional eating challenges and to find sustainable peace with food, body, and self to create their own unique path of excellence for achieving lasting health results, reclaiming their power and purpose in their lives as their best diva self without ever going on another restrictive diet again. This is quite a lofty mission, but with fantastic results. And our show is designed to provide additional information that may be helpful. However, if you're on a medical or psychological support regimen and under the care of a physician, you are advised to adhere to your treatment regimen. So now I welcome Tracy Desjardins on our show today, the Diet-Free Diva Lifestyle. Welcome, Tracy.
Hi, Jean Marie. What a fantastic opening. I loved every word of that. That sounded beautiful.
Well, coming from an expert, we are grateful for you to be here today. And Tracy, you have your own powerful story growing up as an overweight child and your struggles with diet, food restrictions, and you have really overcome your struggles and now are helping women across the globe. Can you share with our listeners about your journey and what inspired your work in this area?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And first of all, I just want to tell you, I'm so honored to be on the Love Light show. And, in the opening, I heard the words love and self-worth. And those are two concepts that I coach with my clients all the time. And I personally really struggled with self-love and self-worth for a really long time, especially when I began the war with my body and food at the ginger age of 12. And you were right. I grew up in 1970. I was born. And I was a slightly overweight child in the 70s, to the extent that I had to wear like the plus size clothing. And back then, I could only really shop at a couple of department stores for the plus size clothing. And what's really funny, Jean Marie, is at the time, I really didn't care. I mean, those pants were comfortable. They were stretch pants. And this was like, I would say, from fifth grade and before. Let's say from kindergarten up to like the end of fourth grade, I wore pretty plus clothing. And I wasn't really concerned with my appearance. I was comfortable in these clothes. I was also comfortable with myself. I was comfortable in my own skin. I had no problem making friends. Life was good. I felt connected to my inner spirit. I put myself out there without any fears. And something happens when we go through this, puberty stage. And all of a sudden at the age of 12, I'll never forget this. It was like transferring from like the fourth grade into the fifth grade. I started to care about what my body looked like because I started to notice what messages were being sent to me in society. Mm-hmm. And I was a tough little girl in a lot of ways. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what it takes to be accepted and fit in. I want to keep going with my humor. I love to laugh. I love making people laugh. And I like I said before, life was good until it wasn't, until I believed that I had to change my body and I had to change it fast. Because girls around me, I noticed the ones that were getting the attention from the boys and all these things. And, I heard people in my life, thin is in, and I certainly wasn't thin, but I felt like I had to be quick in order to not just fit in, Jean Marie, but I felt like I'm a survivor and I'm going to survive this. So here we go. I started dieting, and this was like the ginger age of 12. And that was a really hard time for me. And that's when my war with food and my body began.
Well, it's interesting, as children, we come up not thinking about all these issues, but of course, reaching that adolescent period and of course, being programmed as to what is beauty or trying to compare ourselves to others, it becomes kind of paramount to, how we see ourselves and, trying to really live up to the expectations of, what society deems beautiful, or, this whole concept of thin is in. So I'm glad that you brought that up. And one thing I like to get your take on, with the advent of social media, which was not there during the time that you grew up and I grew up, many are facing bullying and body shaming. What's your thoughts about that?
It's sad. And I think, I compare myself back in like 1980, 1981, obviously before social media, and I became my own inner bully based on what I was seeing. Based on what I was seeing in the magazines, based on what other people that I admired and respected that were older than me said, and what they believed in and what they modeled. Women were dieting all around me. The TV commercials, TV shows, Charlie's Angels was really big. I had Barbie dolls out the wazoo, and I didn't look like these Barbie dolls, but that those were the messages then. And I can only imagine. I mean, my children are grown. I have a son and a daughter, and it's really just a constant conversation that we have about the images that we see in social media, and especially with my daughter. We've had the conversation before. She's 28, and I've said, be very particular with regards to who you let influence you. And I would encourage, any mother out there or anyone listening in, take that advice. Let's use some strong discernment about what influences that we're going to allow in our lives coming from social media.
That's great. And it's so important to have that conversation. And I love what you said about you were your own inner bully. How many people can really attest to that with the negative self-talk and their own aspects of body shaming and how they view their bodies. Yeah. So I thank you so much for bringing that up, because that is very important for us to really recognize, what we're saying to ourselves. And Tracy, you talk about the wisdom within, and you say that we all have to can access it for our own unique journey. And I know in your work, you help people make peace with themselves, peace with food and their bodies. Can you share a little bit about this wisdom within?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. In fact, I'd like to just say that, in the throes of my wars with food and my body, I was completely disconnected with any inner wisdom that I had. And, to me, that's God. But yes. I was in this self-attack with food, trying to fix my body because I believed that that's what I needed to do to be okay in the world, to be loved and accepted. And I ran with this. And a lot of us do this. We take on the belief that, okay, we have to go over there in order to fit in. And when we fit in, then we're going to be okay. We're going to be safe. We're going to be loved. And thin is in. And, the work that I do with amazing women that come to me of all different ages, there's a lot of stuckness there. There is a lot of despair, defeat. They're very down on themselves. There's a lot of self-attack. And there's a difficulty accessing that inner wisdom because we are so used to the messages that we've been feeding ourselves all these years, assessing our body shape, our body size, what we weigh, what we're eating to get a certain result. And a lot of that is a lot of incessant babble. Mm-hmm. That can be very distracting from hearing the whisper of our inner wisdom saying, hey, you know what? Can we slow down and connect and have a conversation about what's really important to us and where we want to go?
I love that. Because so often we're listening to the outside world and we're not in tune to ourselves. And what you're really trying to share with us is that how important it is to access that wisdom within. And one thing that I want to share, that many may be spiritually hungry and may satiate themselves with by overeating, satiating this hunger with overeating. We hear a lot about people, seeking comfort foods, for satisfaction. What are your thoughts about that in terms of, those who may be spiritually hungry and satisfying this yearning for, food?
I'm so glad you asked me that question because I will use myself as an example. I had no idea what that meant, spiritual hunger. I did not understand why from an early age of 12, right? This went on for decades and decades. I was on this pathway of, buy into the diet program, whether it was my own restrictive plan or somebody else's or some program. And, I was dedicated to these results and I was pushing and pushing and pushing. And I would restrict so hard. I would get so spiritually worn down from the fight and the focus all about the food that I would get tired and worn down in my spirit. And then I would use food to kind of rebel against the rules and to just have a time out and take a break from myself.
Yes.
And this is what dieting, restrictive dieting for weight loss teaches us. It actually teaches us how not to eat and how to kind of go crazy. And it robs us of our self-trust and our self-respect. And we need a break from that.
It's like both ends of the scale. And one of the things that you focus on is about balance, because I think we're out of harmony with ourselves. And here comes the chaos within. And as I indicated earlier, when we're so focused on the messages from the outside world and the programming, a lot of times we're not aware of that. But what we're doing here today is to inspire listeners to become more self-aware and to, catch yourself when you're really more focused on the outside world than your inner wisdom. One of the things that I love about Tracy is that she has this concept of holistic health, and she has a fantastic analogy of buckets in a circle. Before we go on break, Tracy, can you share your concept of holistic health?
Oh, absolutely, yes. And so if you picture a small Ferris wheel like at a kiddie land, there's all those little seats on the Ferris wheel going around. We can think of those as like buckets in our life that represent holistic health. And one bucket can be food, one can be joy, one can be spirituality, social life, relationships, home environment, physical activity, education, career, finances. Picture those as buckets on the Ferris wheel. And I help clients take, with their restrictive dieting pathway, the focus off of so much with the food and the body factor. And let's take a look at filling up some other buckets in our lives that represent overall wellness and satisfaction with life. And there's a pathway that I lead clients toward to start taking some focus off the food and start filling up a few of those buckets or those seats on their own holistic Ferris wheel, if you will.
I love that. I love that analogy. And we're going to talk a lot about self-love, self-worth, and Tracy's going to talk about her trifecta of healing. And she's going to share 5 steps with listeners when we come back from our commercial break. But we're ready now for our commercial break. Stay tuned for more on the Diet-Free Diva lifestyle with our amazing guest, Tracy Desjardins. She's a national board certified health and wellness coach, mind-body eating coach, fitness professional and coach, and international best-selling author of the Diet-Free Diva lifestyle, 5 steps to freedom with food, body, self on your trusted and sustainable terms. And we'll learn more about that when we return from break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Announcing Dr. Jean Marie Farish's new book, Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations. This is the companion piece to Dr. Farish's best-selling book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being. Through the new book, we invite you to cultivate a lifestyle of love through daily devotional practices over a 21-day period, following 9 ingredients in the recipe of love. Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations is available on Amazon.com and Balboa Press.
Jean Marie Farish's Center for Conscious Loving, LLC, cultivates a lifestyle of love and wholehearted connections through personal growth, altruistic services, and speaking engagements. Resources include classes, workshops, life care coaching, and creative service projects with an emphasis on cultural arts. Visit the website at drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com. That's drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com, or click the link on the Love Light show page.
Best-selling authors international news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to publishedmagazine.com. Vicki Winterton and Dr. Jean Marie Farish have compiled a dynamic book, We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another, an anthology with 24 highly diverse co-authors who share how to spread the message of love, resilience, inclusivity, and compassion. This book is an invaluable source of uplifting, inspiring, and positive insights for spreading positivity in the world. We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another is available on Amazon.com. Be sure to get your copy today. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is proud to announce the release of her new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being, available now at Balboa Press. This book will help you master your life and flourish in love. You'll learn how to become a better and more evolved you. Feel good by making life-affirming choices. Deepen your feelings and expressions of love. Tune in love and sustain the change. And flourish in love and find your joy. Visit BalboaPress.com and search for Living in the Spirit of Love and enjoy Dr. Farish's new book today.
I'm Judy Satori. I'm a spiritual channel and activator of human potential. You might have heard me speaking on Voice of America on Dr. Jean Farish's show, Love Light, because I've been speaking about the challenges that are besetting all of us right now and how we can surrender but also keep on going. I want to invite you to join my new Facebook group, that is devoted to heart-centered connection and unity. Through this Facebook group, you can also join my free access question and answer session with Spirit on the first Wednesday to Thursday of every month. Just search Ascension Community on Facebook to join the group. In this session, I answer questions and transmit energy from Spirit to give you guidance and support. Because life on planet Earth ain't easy right now. And there is so much help from above, from beings of love and light, from multidimensional realities who are actually here with us, wanting to step up and support us. I welcome you to become part of our ongoing group conversation about evolutionary change and how it's affecting us as human beings and affecting our life today. Many blessings to you. You can find out more about me and my work at www.ascensionlibrary.org. Have a wonderful day.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Well, welcome back to Love Light, living in the spirit of love. And if you're just joining us, we are with our amazing guest, Tracy Desjardins. She's a national board-certified health and wellness coach, mind, body, eating coach, fitness professional, and coach. On our show today, the Diet-Free Diva Lifestyle. And Tracy is the author of the international bestseller, Diet-Free Diva Lifestyle, the 5 Steps to Freedom with Food, Body, Self on your trusted, sustainable terms. And Tracy, one of the things that I would like to get you to share with us, why diva? What is your concept of diva? And I know people may perceive that in negative or positive terms, and I kind of went and explored the meaning of diva, and one of the top terms that I came up with, a definition, was to behave as if you're very special and important. So I know you talk about the Diet-Free Diva lifestyle, so give us your take on that.
Jean Marie, I'm so glad you asked me that question. That's just the best question. And I'm so honored to be able to share that. And it's really important. And you know what? We are important. All of us, we are special and we are important. And I struggled with, gosh, what do I call this book? You know, I wanted it to stand out and I wanted it to mean something from the depths of my heart out to all of my readers. So what Diet-Free Diva means, this is a woman who has found freedom from the toxicity of diet culture and restrictive dieting for weight loss. She's taken back all of that energy that she has spent on trying a diet, giving up, starting over on Monday, with all of that energy going towards the emotional components of healing from destructive dieting. And I encourage my clients to step into their best diva self and reclaim all of that energy that has been spent in the war with food and body, and help them find freedom from dieting so they can then go out there and do that certain thing that they do really, really well. And friends listening in, there is something that you do really, really well, maybe a number of things. And I would ask you to consider, are you putting those things that you do well, that you want to do with your life, on the back burner until you get the weight off, until you figure out what's wrong with your eating style, until you figure out your unwanted eating concerns? I help women get past that so they can put themselves out there in the world in their best diva self. So that is a diet.
Beautiful. And, you know, many are out there diet hopping, spending lots of money trying to, on different things that perhaps may not work or may not serve them well. And I love what you said about freeing your energy up, looking at other things in your life, trying to achieve that balance, because that can burn up a lot of energy.
Can I dive in there Jean Marie?
Yes, of course.
I'd like to share with everybody listening in that I spent over 3 decades of my life starting a diet, working hard with willpower, and then I would eat something off plan, or life would get lifey or whatever, and I would rebel and give up and then emotionally eat for, I don't know, a number of days. Sometimes it would turn into weeks until I mustered up some sort of next level willpower and quote unquote motivation to start again and do the same thing. And I would convince I'm a reasonably intelligent person here, would convince myself, okay, well, what's different this time? I'm just going to try harder. Has anybody out there listening, have any of you experienced something similar? Like, you're just going to try harder this time. There are so many things that we're missing. And that is why I decided to get out of coaching fitness exclusively to coaching holistic health and dieting freedom exclusively, because a lot of people need help with this.
Yes, you are so right. And Tracy, you regard yourself as the archaeologists helping women dig for the roots, uproot faulty beliefs and values. I love that. What do you see as the most prominent issues, challenges, recurring themes, life scripts underlying these issues that you see among women in relation to weight issues?
I think that the biggest pain point that I notice with my clients is they feel as though they're broken and they're powerless against their emotional eating. And a lot of this comes from sugar. A lot of my clients come to me because they can't stop eating sugar. It tastes great. It feels great. It's their go-to for immediate relief from things that they can't put their finger on, despite their best attempts to, quote unquote, stay on track and eat healthy. That's their recurring pain point right there. And I love bringing a client in, hearing her story, and then holding space for her in her story to discover, well, let's take a look at what some of these root causes might be so we can find your precious and very unique solutions for your unwanted eating concerns. Because in those solutions, and they're different for all of us, that is what we can sustain, trust, take our self-trust back with our relationship with food, and move on with our best diva life. Yes. So I extend a hand to women and I tell them, hey, this was me. I had my own coach who opened the door of knowing. She helped me find tools that I never even knew existed. And they were all in my head and my heart, not in the next selection of vegetables. Okay. The tools that I already had that I needed someone to show me how to find. That is the work that I do with my clients.
Oh, that is amazing. This whole issue of I'm not enough, or the lack of self-love, feelings of unworthiness as related to these issues. And then, of course, that self-defeating aspect of sabotaging where, like, as you described, you check out and then you fall apart and return to maybe binge eating or whatever, with that lack of self-confidence and critical self-judgment, self-attack. And it's so important to be gentle with yourself and show self-compassion.
Absolutely. And, just hearing you say that, my face is on fire right now. It's all red because I love talking about this. And I would love for all of the listeners to tune in and do a check-in with self right now. If you have a history of restrictive dieting, you'd be hard-pressed to find a woman who hasn't, quite frankly, bought into the false promise that the new and popular sexy diet program is going to give you. Let's kind of go there. If you have a history like me with saying yes to dieting and turning off the lights to ourselves and putting all of our trust in following the rules of the diet to get to a particular outcome with weight loss or whatever that might be, let's take a look at that trajectory. Because what happens, do you remember, for example, I lost count of how many times I personally felt this way. Do you remember what it felt like to eat something off plan and give up on yourself? And then you're in this land of what the heck? And we start, many people, not everybody, we find ourselves eating in a rebellious fashion anything that we told ourselves that we couldn't have on the diet. And in that eating process, for me, I would always go out and get ice cream and Little Debbie snack cakes because they were in my lunchbox as a kid. And I was really rebelling with food. I was really good at it. But what was happening, Jean Marie, while I was rebelling with food, and anyone listening in here, if this resonates with you, when we're rebelling with food, we are also bringing in this little voice that is attacking us, berating us, and shaming. And now we're embarrassed. We don't want to talk about this problem. We don't know where to go for help. And it's a real private war. And we keep doing it. And every time we keep doing this, that inner critical bully voice gets louder and louder and louder. And all of a sudden, here's what happens. And this is what polarized me to write this book. I got sick and tired of the reality of restrictive dieting and recovering time and time again. And the ultimate price that we pay is our own self-respect, our own ability to accept ourselves, to love ourselves. And we take on limiting beliefs of, wow, well, if I can't trust myself with eating and weight loss, well, maybe I can't do anything right. Yes. I see this a lot, and it's maddening.
Yes.
And this is the aftermath, the toxic virus that we take on every time we say yes to a diet. We do our best. We eat something off plan. We don't know what to do with that. We're out of tools. Our lights are off to our inner wisdom. We're trusting somebody that's not there for us, and we say the heck with it. We're just going to party on and start over on Monday. Do you see how we can develop a very dysfunctional relationship with our inner spirit? And we can develop these toxic beliefs, which become more roots of inner pain that contribute to limiting beliefs about what we can and can't do in our lives that aren't true, that are connected to the experience of another failed diet.
Yes, thus reinforcing the narratives and the stories that, we repeat. So I'm grateful to you for sharing that. And I can't wait for us to dive into your trifecta of healing, those facts.
And, the ultimate bottom line, I wanted to throw this out there, a very, very, I think in every client that I've worked with, there's been a theme of, due to my prior war with food in my body, I feel like I'm not enough, not only with my relationship with food and what I'm eating, but with other things in my life. So this concept of not enoughness runs really deep and really thick and really heavy with so many people. And I would encourage anyone listening in, do you ever feel that way about yourself? That, I'm just not good enough to do A, B, C, and D. That's a big, nasty thorn of a limiting belief that tends to develop in this war with food and body when we take on restrictive diets.
That's so important, that thread that runs through I'm not enough through every aspect of our lives. So that's really, I'm glad that you brought that up as to how we can do more damage to ourselves. So Tracy, we're ready for those 5 steps to becoming a diet-free diva.
I love it, Jean Marie. I love how this conversation is flowing.
Yes.
So you mentioned in my book, The Diet-Free Diva, I speak in the book about what's called a trifecta of healing. And what I mean by that is the way that we find freedom with food, body, and self on our trusted and sustainable terms involves 3 parts. One is in the mind. I just finished discussing limiting beliefs and examining roots, looking back in our food story. That's one part, the mind, new voices that we can engineer in the honor of self-love and self-worth. We have to step into the shoes of being our own loving, nurturing parent, loving, nurturing best friend. And it's up to us to rewire that voice. And I spend a lot of time with my clients on that because it's so unfamiliar. We're not used to this. And then that was the mind part of the trifecta. And then the body, of course, with my clients and in my book, I discuss healthy eating, of course. But my book's different. And I tell everyone, look, if you're looking for the next sexiest meal plan, I don't have a meal plan for you. I am not qualified to give you a meal plan. And if you've ever had a meal plan from somebody else, how did that really work out anyway? I help lovely people discover what's right for them to eat. So I massage that a little bit with the right questions, and I provide a healthy format for considering how to eat in terms of self-care and elevating our self-care, not deprivation with dieting. We spend a lot of time on those concepts. And then, of course, spirit. And you touched on this, Jean Marie, and your whole show here is about love and self-worth. And we go there with connecting with our inner wisdom and learning how to listen and recognize the clues. And, emotional eating is like one big giant teacher. It's asking for our attention. I mentioned that little Ferris wheel of holistic health, Jean. The buckets that represent different aspects of our wellness. I work with clients to discover, hey, what buckets need to be filled up in your life? And where are we overflowing the bucket? How do we find some balance there? That is what is meant by the spirit aspect of the trifecta of healing. And in my book, The Diet-Free Diva, I have a step 1 through 5 outline throughout the entire book that, quite frankly, I discovered through my own trial and error and my own, epiphanies and awareness of, oh my gosh, I've been doing this for so long. I know so many other people are struggling like me. When I discovered the healing way out, I had to write about this. So step 1. Discover and write your food story. All of you listening in have an amazing story, probably a very interesting topsy-turvy kind of story with food, because if you think about this, it's a very intimate relationship. We have to eat or we're not going to live. And that relationship really has an interesting history. And I help lovely women connect dots and validate their struggles with food based on as early as they can remember. We spend a lot of time there. So, we can't see where we want to go and learn to rewrite our future food script until we respect where we've come from. And I provide an avenue of respect for all of my clients to be heard in safe space. Step 2, identify your top 3 values and write your personal, powerful why for choosing this unpopular road of saying no to restrictive diets and yes to, hey, what about me? What about listening to my inner wisdom and working with Tracy to try to find my own solutions? Maybe I never have to diet again. It's a little scary because I don't know anything different. I help amazing women connect with what makes them tick with their values and get really clear on who they are. And I give them the space to stop shoulding on themselves based on what the world is trying to tell us. That's really big.
That's perfect.
Yeah. We spend a lot of time there because it's so easy to take on this pleasing aspect of everybody in the world, in our families. And we need a place to go to connect with ourselves, and we need support and community to do that. Step number 3, commit to daily personal inquiry and master your self-awareness. That's that inner bully, Jean Marie. I spend a lot of time with my clients and starting to notice thoughts, recognize feelings and emotions, sit with and process all of this amazingness, because it has everything to do with healing a damaged relationship with food. We spend a lot of time on, well, how do I recognize my thoughts and feelings? Yes. I'll admit, I never knew how to do that. Oh my gosh, the autopilot, the go, 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 success, keep pushing. It's a real thing, and it's time to slow down, and we need some help to, learning how to do that.
Yes, that is so important. I love what you said about, this food story. I'm an admirer of self-reflection and taking the time to really sort yourself out, because when you write your story, you can really connect the dots like you do with your clients. What was the origin of this, or how did I get to this place? Because self-awareness is everything, and it's the key to really, making changes. So it may not be something you might want to do, but it's necessary to go back to where you started, these dysfunctional beliefs. And, we are more in tune to what these outside factors, society, where people compare themselves to others. We got models, the image of what society denotes as beautiful. So I love what you shared with us, but I think we're ready for another commercial break. Great, inspiring thoughts there for your 5-step trifecta of healing. So right now we're going to take a brief commercial break, but stay tuned for more on the Diet-Free Diva lifestyle with our amazing guest, Tracy Desjardins, National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach, Mind Body Eating Coach, Fitness Professional and Coach, international best-selling author of the Diet-Free Diva lifestyle, 5 Steps to Freedom with Food, Body, Self, on your trusted and sustainable terms. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Vicki Winterton and Dr. Jean Marie Farish have compiled a dynamic book. We're all in this together. Embrace one another. An anthology with 24 highly diverse co-authors who share how to spread the message of love, resilience, inclusivity, and compassion. This book is an invaluable source of uplifting, inspiring, and positive insights for spreading positivity in the world. We're all in this together. Embrace one another is available on Amazon.com. Be sure to get your copy today.
I'm Judy Satori. I'm a spiritual channel and activator of human potential. You might have heard me speaking on Voice of America on Dr. Jean Farish's show, Love Light, because I've been speaking about the challenges that are besetting all of us right now and how we can surrender but also keep on going. I want to invite you to join my new Facebook group that is devoted to heart-centered connection and unity. Through this Facebook group, you can also join my free access question and answer session with Spirit on the first Wednesday to Thursday of every month. Just search Ascension Community on Facebook to join the group. In this session, I answer questions and transmit energy from Spirit to give you guidance and support. Because life on planet Earth ain't easy right now. And there is so much help from above, from beings of love and light, from multidimensional realities who are actually here with us, wanting to step up and support us. I welcome you to become part of our ongoing group conversation about evolutionary change and how it's affecting us as human beings and affecting our life today. Many blessings to you. You can find out more about me and my work at www.ascensionlibrary.org. Have a wonderful day.
Dr. Jean Marie Farish is proud to announce the release of her new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being, available now at Balboa Press. This book will help you master your life and flourish in love. You'll learn how to become a better and more evolved you. Feel good by making life-affirming choices. Deepen your feelings and expressions of love. Tune in love and sustain the change. And flourish in love and find your joy. Visit BalboaPress.com and search for Living in the Spirit of Love and enjoy Dr. Farish's new book today. Announcing Dr. Jean Marie Farish's new book, Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations. This is the companion piece to Dr. Farish's best-selling book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being. Through the new book, we invite you to cultivate a lifestyle of love through daily devotional practices over a 21-day period, following 9 ingredients in the recipe of love. Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations, is available on Amazon.com and Balboa Press. Best-selling Authors International news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to publishedmagazine.com.
Jean Marie Farish's Center for Conscious Loving, LLC, cultivates a lifestyle of love and wholehearted connections through personal growth. altruistic services, and speaking engagements. Resources include classes, workshops, life care coaching, and creative service projects with an emphasis on cultural arts. Visit the website at drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com. That's drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com. Or click the link on the Love Light show page.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Well, welcome back to Love Light, living in the spirit of love. And our guest today, Tracy Desjardins, is a national board-certified health and wellness coach, mind-body eating coach, fitness professional and coach, author of the international bestseller, The Diet-Free Diva Lifestyle, 5 Steps to Freedom with Food, Body, Self, on your trusted and sustainable terms. On our show today, The Diet-Free Diva Lifestyle. Tracy, I know we left off with you sharing the trifecta of healing. So can you just review and continue with those 5 steps?
Absolutely, yes. So the 5 steps lead to freedom with food, body, and self on one's trusted and sustainable terms. That means no more diets, listeners, no more diets. And I pave the road and I hold your hand and I help you through these steps. We ended up, well, first of all, step 1 again, discover and write your food story. You have very valid history there with your relationship with food. Step 2, I help you identify your top 3 values and write your personal, powerful why for saying no to restrictive diets and yes to your own inner wisdom and solutions. Step number 3, we talk about the mind, body, spirit trifecta. I help you learn to tune into your own feelings, thoughts, and emotions and master self-awareness, which is so important for healing unwanted eating concerns. Step 4, I coach you through a 14-day whole foods cleanup experiment, which is not a diet. It's an experiment to help us on the road to eating healthy on your terms. Because let's face it, when we eat healthy, we feel healthy, we have the energy to live an abundant life. Step number 5 is a collection of tools that I share with you that you can take into your daily life, including when the snake pits of stress show up, when you're out at a convenience store, and when life is trying to lure you into eating the processed foods, the sugars. How do you stay on track? I help you form your toolbox, your personal toolbox, to help you stay on track with your new habits.
You know, I love this aspect of really on your trusted and sustainable terms, because we are unique individuals. And sometimes we approach life with these cookie cutter solutions that don't work for everyone. So as you indicated, you're there, you're helping women become more empowered. You're helping them with their story. You're helping them become more self-aware. And ultimately, it's really all about well-being, self-care, and self-love. And you are enough.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes. And I really believe that if we can give ourselves the patience and the time, this doesn't happen overnight, this healing. By the way, let me just throw that out there. We are so conditioned to instant gratification. We're not going to get this overnight. But for the people that are willing to say, tell me more, teach me, help me, guide me, let's take this one step at a time, they find freedom. But we cannot get this with Amazon Prime. It's not going to happen.
Yes. And I think, Tracy, the litmus test, as I share in terms of practicing, is how does this make you feel? The true test.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And ultimately, Jean, we're talking about how can we take best care of ourselves?
Yes.
To have energy and to be resilient and the best version of us to live our lives on our terms.
Yes, I love that. On our terms. Now, do you work with men?
This is so funny. I will say I do not work with men, but my husband, I work with him. He does my steps in the book. We talk all the time. He's a very healthy man, and he was my very first reader. And he said, you wrote this for women, but he said, this is for men too, And I said, yes, but I had to niche down. I'm a woman. I work with women. Okay. So for any men listening out there, I mean, all of this applies to you as well.
Okay. And you have an upcoming workshop or a club for women. Can you share more about that?
Well, my business is the Holistic Divas, and I can be found on my website at www.theholisticdivas.com. And there is where you can find the link to purchase my book on Amazon called The Diet-Free Diva. It's on paperback, Kindle, and it's Audible. I read it in my own voice. And there's also a way to contact me and set up, and I offer this free to all of my readers, a one-on-one on Zoom with me face to face, where I give you space to hear your food story. And it's one of the most favorite things that I do is connecting with amazing women and starting to help them open the door to their own pathway of healing. And I do offer various group programs throughout the year, and I do promote those intermittently throughout the year.
So for our listeners, you can connect with Tracy, let her know that you were a listener on the Love Light Show, and she can help you, listen to your story and look at what are the things that you need to do to really achieve this freedom for weight management and look at living a healthier, happier lifestyle and creating more resilience and using your energy to create balance in other areas of your life. Now, Tracy, you don't work with certain people. Can you share with us about that maybe need more professional help?
Absolutely, yes. And I'm so glad that you brought that up. First of all, my motivation for becoming a national board certified health and wellness coach for women and shifting out of my professional career in fitness and into this line of work is this specific reason. To answer your question, though, I do not work with lovely people that are battling eating disorders such as anorexia and bulimia. And there are very wonderful places and outlets for those that are battling that particular challenge. That is out of my scope of work. And it's also something that I've personally never dealt with. But the reason that I went into this particular work is because I always represented that woman, that girl, that teen, that young woman, now I'm 53, who, well, yeah, I'm not bulimic or anorexic, but you know what? This emotional eating thing is making me crazy. I'm binging a lot. I'm dieting, and then I'm restricting, and then I'm giving up and I'm binging. What about me? And what about all those other amazing people that are doing what I did for decades and hiding in their own shame? Those are the people that I work with.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. And aside from your own story, do you have a story of someone you've helped as we close out?
Oh, gosh, yes. Okay, there's one in particular that comes to mind, and I want to just share. I had a client who came to me because she was struggling with sugar consumption. She felt like sugar just had its claws in her and she wasn't okay with it. Sugar is love, food is love. And sugar, anybody listening in, if anybody's struggling with consumption of sugar for relief, for fun, for celebration, and you're just eating too much of it and you feel controlled by it, I understand that very much. So this particular client came to work with me and we had such a loving conversation early on in her food story discussion. And we were starting to go through her values and digging up the roots. We were talking about her roots. And it sounded like, she was struggling with this concept of, being able to trust herself in general. And this was an amazing, she was very successful in her life and her career and an amazing mom. And then I finally said to her, boy, I feel like for you, does it sound like, well, maybe you'd like to trust that you can keep your promises to yourself? And she started to cry. And I realized, gosh, this is so much more than just food. It's so much more than stepping on that ridiculous bathroom scale, which, by the way, I don't get on. And I talk about that in my book. But, that is a really big recurring theme. Women want to be able to believe that they're enough, to trust themselves with food and with everything else in their life, and believe that when they promise them, that they're going to do something for themselves, that they'll follow through.
All right. That's such a great story. How revealing that the root issue was lack of trust in yourself. And what happens when you don't trust yourself? You don't have confidence in yourself. You don't commit to things. You don't dedicate yourself to what you really what feels good and right for you. So thank you so much, Tracy, for sharing your story, the example of someone who you work with, and also the strategies, your trifecta of healing. And we really appreciate all that you do. Many thanks for you joining us today. You're doing such amazing work that certainly help women achieve balance. Access the wisdom within, find peace, and safely navigate to become a diet-free diva. And thank you so much for your generosity. We invite listeners to tune in on demand and to share our show with others and connect with Tracy to learn more.
And Jean, I forgot to mention this free gift on my website. There's a workbook of 5 steps to freedom of food, body, self. Access to holisticdivas.com. And you can download it right there on my main page.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tracy, for your generosity. So strengthen and embody the practice of love in your daily life by visiting the weekly blog post, your love practice exercise posted on the blog pages of my websites, JeanFerrisJourney.com and Dr. Jean Marie Farish, ConsciousLoving.com. Much gratitude to the Voice America team for making this show a reality and for shining their love light around the world. Do not compare yourself with others. You are your own yardstick to measure your success. You are enough. You have the power. Give up the struggle and be free from excessive restrictive dieting, poor eating habits, and the energy of sabotage that makes one feel out of control, lacking self-confidence. Optimize your health and well-being by being open to new possibilities and take advantage of resources and seek support services and medical and psychological support when needed. You are beautiful inside out. Access my article published in Savannah East, How to Celebrate Yourself, where I highlight, acknowledge your uniqueness, acknowledge your goodness, nurture yourself, reward yourself. And as Rumi quotes, listen to the sound of the waves within. This is Dr. Jean Marie, your Love Light host, coming to you from Voice America. And until we meet again, remember, an empowered self is a loving self. And keep your love light shining. Again, thanks to all of our listeners who join us from many countries around the world. We are truly grateful.
Thank you for listening to Love Light this week. Be sure to join Dr. Jean Marie Farish again for another program next Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and noon Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a wonderful week filled with love, self-worth, and better connections.